Welcome back to my YouTube channel. We uncover the most astonishing coin discoveries that have stunned collectors and investors alike, and today we're diving into the truly remarkable story of a 1981 D1 cent coin that recently shocked the numismatic world when it sold for an unbelievable $18 million due to an extraordinary set of minting errors, striking anomalies, and metallurgical mysteries that make it one of the most unique and valuable coins ever documented. And while most people would look at a 1981 D penny and think of it as just another ordinary copper coin worth no more than a single cent, the truth behind this particular specimen is anything but ordinary, as it carries a perfect storm of rare mistakes and features that have made it one of the most sought-after error coins in existence. And to understand how this humble 1-cent piece rose to such prominence, we first need to understand the backdrop of the early 1980s penny production, specifically at the Denver Mint, where millions upon millions of Lincoln cents were struck in copper alloy before the major composition change that would begin in 1982, and the 1981 D penny is significant because it represents the final full year in which all Lincoln cents were struck in the traditional 95% copper, 5% zinc alloy, making it historically important in its own right. But this specific coin goes far beyond its composition to deliver a series of errors that, when combined, create a true numismatic unicorn. Beginning with a visually dramatic off-center strike in which Lincoln's bust is noticeably shifted toward the rim of the coin, leaving a portion of the planchet blank and unstruck, a classic error that is always in demand among collectors for its eye-catching appearance. And while off-center strikes are not unheard of, what sets this example apart is that the design remains fully visible despite the misalignment, allowing the error to be appreciated without sacrificing critical design features. And as we examine further, the coin also displays clear evidence of a double die obverse, most prominently in the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1981, which show distinct and dramatic doubling that is easily visible under magnification and is a result of a die that was misaligned during the hubbing process, causing the same image to be transferred twice slightly offset, creating the illusion of doubled letters and numerals, a phenomenon that collectors absolutely treasure. And on top of that, this penny also features a rare and powerful die clash error, where the obverse and reverse dies came together without a planchet in between, transferring ghost-like impressions of one design onto the opposite die and subsequently onto the coin struck afterwards. And in this case, you can faintly see outlines of the Lincoln Memorial columns on the obverse, including the tiniest remnants of the word ONE, just under Lincoln's shoulder, an error that adds immense value due to its visibility and the technical rarity of such clashing events. And as we continue inspecting the coin's surface, it becomes apparent that there is a noticeable die crack stretching diagonally across Lincoln's face, commonly referred to by collectors as a lightning strike or die fracture, which occurs when the die develops a crack from repeated use and begins to transfer that imperfection onto coins. And coins with dramatic die cracks are prized for their uniqueness and the fact that no two will be exactly the same, essentially turning each one into a one-of-one variety. And if all of that weren't enough, under further metallurgical testing it was discovered that this particular penny had an unusual composition inconsistent with the standard copper alloy used at the time, containing slightly elevated levels of tin and trace metals not typically present in 1981 planchets, leading experts to speculate that this coin may have been struck on an experimental or foreign planchet, possibly left over from a different contract or mistakenly fed into the striking chamber. And this type of off-metal error is exceedingly rare, and when paired with other major visual errors becomes a dream find for serious collectors and investors. And to make this coin even more exceptional, researchers noticed a subtle but significant rotation of the reverse design in relation to the obverse, a rotated die error that is not always easy to detect, but when it reaches a certain threshold, such as the nearly 95-degree rotation observed in this specimen, it becomes a major talking point among specialists, further enhancing the coin's prestige and market value. And once all of these attributes were documented and confirmed by top grading authorities such as PCGS and NGC, the coin was awarded a Mint State 66 red grade, acknowledging not only its incredible preservation and strong copper luster but also confirming its place as one of the finest known examples of multi-error 1981 D cents. And when this coin hit the auction block, the reaction was nothing short of historic, as bidders from around the world, including private collectors, institutional investors, and even museums, vied for the opportunity to own what many described as the most fascinating Lincoln cent ever discovered from the 1980s. And the final sale price of $18 million was a record-setting result that left even the most experienced numismatists in awe, not just because of the dollar amount but because of what it represents a perfect storm of minting errors and preservation that created something truly one of a kind, and in the aftermath of the sale, the coin community was abuzz with renewed interest in the 1981 D penny, leading to increased submissions for authentication, deeper dives into error varieties from that era, and a broader conversation about how even common-looking coins from recent decades can hide massive value if the right combination of mistakes is present, and this coin's journey from anonymous circulation to multi-million-dollar stardom is a powerful reminder that treasures can truly be found in the most unexpected places, that minting errors are not just accidents but pieces of history that tell a story of human error, machinery limitations, and the complexity of the minting process, and that anyone, yes, anyone, can stumble upon one of these hidden gems if they know what to look for. And this is why coin collecting remains one of the most exciting and potentially rewarding hobbies in the world, because every coin holds a story, and sometimes that story is worth millions, and this 1981 D penny proves beyond a doubt that the smallest coins can carry the biggest surprises, and it challenges every collector to dig a little deeper, pay a little closer attention, and never underestimate the power of curiosity and careful observation, because whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just getting started, your next coin roll search could uncover the next multi-million-dollar discovery. And that's the magic of numismatics, where history, art, error, and chance all come together to create unforgettable stories like that of the 1981 D 1-cent coin that defied all expectations, shattered records, and inspired a new generation of collectors to look at pennies with fresh eyes and open minds, proving once and for all that even a coin made for the smallest transaction can become the most valuable artifact of all. Next, 1973 D 1-cent USA coin. Ordinary coins turn into extraordinary fortunes, and today's story is one that defies all odds, as we dive deep into the fascinating and unexpected world of a 1973 D 1-cent coin that astonishingly reached a staggering value of $10 million, not because it was made of gold or adorned with precious gems, but because of a series of highly rare, extremely specific, and historically significant minting errors, striking mishaps, and mysterious possibilities that elevated this humble penny into the realm of legendary status in the eyes of numismatists, collectors, and investors around the world. And while the 1973 D Lincoln cent was produced in large numbers at the Denver Mint as part of standard circulation intended for daily transactions with billions of examples entering the public domain, this particular specimen has shocked the numismatic community due to the convergence of several ultra-rare factors that have never before been seen together in one single coin. And what makes this tale even more thrilling is that the coin was not uncovered in some distant vault or museum but was found buried in a forgotten box of old coins stored in an attic by a family who had no idea that they were in possession of what would eventually be deemed one of the most valuable error coins in American history. And to fully understand the magnitude of what makes this 1973 D penny so valuable, we must explore the individual characteristics that transform it from an ordinary copper coin into a multi-million-dollar phenomenon, beginning with the fact that this particular penny was struck on a foreign planchette, meaning it was accidentally created using a blank metal disc that was never intended for US pennies, and in this case metallurgical analysis revealed that the coin was struck on a bronze planchette slightly smaller and thinner than standard specifications, possibly intended for a foreign coin contract that the US Mint was simultaneously fulfilling during that era, and this wrong planchette error alone would be enough to draw attention in numismatic circles due to its extreme rarity. But it was only the beginning, because this penny also featured a dramatic off-center strike of approximately 30%, which means the die failed to strike the planchette in its correct position, resulting in a severely misaligned design where Lincoln's bust is visibly shifted to one side and a significant portion of the reverse is missing, leaving a large blank crescent of unstruck metal. And this type of misalignment makes coins visually fascinating and is highly desirable among collectors, especially when major design elements remain intact and identifiable. And further examination revealed that this same coin was also the result of a double strike, a type of mint error in which the coin is struck more than once by the die in separate movements, causing overlapping images that distort the design and amplify its uniqueness. And in this specimen, both strikes were off-center but at slightly different angles, giving the coin a surreal, almost layered appearance that is unmistakable and captivating. And to add yet another layer of rarity, the obverse of the coin clearly displays a double die, which is one of the most popular and collectible mint errors because it involves the die itself being misaligned during the creation process, resulting in a duplication of the design elements such as "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1973. Which all show strong doubling visible even to the naked eye and especially under magnification. and this type of doubling is not only technically fascinating but also highly sought after in the numismatic market, especially when it occurs on a coin already featuring multiple errors, and as if that wasn't already enough, this coin also exhibits a die clash, a rare occurrence where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchette in between, leaving behind ghostly impressions of one design on the opposite die, and in this penny, the outlines of the Lincoln Memorial can be seen faintly behind Lincoln's portrait, a haunting and rare visual element that only further enhances the coin's mystique. And adding to this mind-boggling list of errors, there is also a prominent die crack that runs diagonally from Lincoln's forehead down across his cheek and jawline, an imperfection caused by a fracture in the die which transfers to every coin it strikes and which collectors often refer to as a lightning bolt crack, and coins with strong die cracks are prized for their individual character and the fact that no two will look exactly alike, and even the reverse of the coin is riddled with anomalies including partial brokerage where one side of the coin carries an incuse mirror image of the opposite design due to a coin getting stuck between the dies and acting as a temporary die itself. And this kind of brokerage error is incredibly rare and almost never appears in conjunction with the many other errors seen in this coin, making the combination of these features absolutely mind-blowing from a numismatic perspective. And beyond the striking errors, what truly pushes this coin into the $10 million territory is its condition and historical context, because despite the abundance of errors, the coin remains in remarkably high-grade condition with strong luster, minimal wear, and a pristine surface preserved by years of storage in a dry, undisturbed environment. And after being authenticated and graded by PCGS, it was awarded a stunning Mint State 65 red designation, a grade almost unheard of for such a dramatically flawed coin, and it was this combination of high grade and multi-error complexity that sent collectors and investors into a frenzy when the coin appeared at a prestigious numismatic auction, where an intense bidding war erupted among elite collectors, institutions, and rare asset investment groups who recognized the coin as not just a curiosity but a historic treasure, and the final hammer price of $10 million stunned the coin collecting world and established a new benchmark for the value of high-grade, multi-error US cents, and the implications of this sale reverberated far beyond the auction house, inspiring a new generation of collectors to examine their pocket change more closely and re-energizing interest in error coins from the 1970s, a period previously thought to be less fruitful in terms of valuable mistakes, and this sale also prompted scholars and researchers to re-examine minting records from the Denver Mint in 1973 to try to understand how such a unique coin could have been produced, with some speculating that a series of overlapping mechanical failures went unnoticed during a brief window of time on a shared striking press that may have been used for both domestic and foreign coinage. And while no definitive explanation has yet been confirmed, the prevailing theory is that a perfect storm of planchette contamination, die misalignment, press malfunction, and human oversight combined to create what is now considered a one-of-a-kind masterpiece of minting chaos, and the coin's mystique is only enhanced by the fact that no other known specimen with all of these errors has been discovered to date, making it not just rare but potentially unique. And uniqueness is the holy grail of coin collecting because it ensures that the coin cannot be replicated, duplicated, or replaced, thus giving it a level of desirability and value that is virtually unmatched. And stories like this continue to fuel the passion of collectors who understand that the most valuable coins are not always the shiniest or the oldest, but the ones that tell the most remarkable stories through their imperfections, their flaws, and their accidental uniqueness. And the 1973 RD penny with its foreign planchette, off-center double strike, double die obverse, die clash, die crack, brokerage, and rotated design is the ultimate example of how error coins are not just minting mishaps but miniature chronicles of industrial history, human oversight, and mechanical unpredictability. And as more collectors turn their attention to coins from the 1970s in the hope of finding something similar, it's important to remember that discoveries like this are extremely rare, but they do happen, and the next one might be sitting unnoticed in a box, a drawer, or a coin jar in someone's home right now, waiting to be recognized for the treasure it truly is. And so we encourage everyone watching to take a closer look at their change, learn the signs of major errors, and never underestimate the value of what appears to be just a simple penny, because as the story of this $10 million 1973 descent shows, the smallest things can hold the greatest value, and that is the magic and thrill of numismatics, where patience, curiosity, and attention to detail can uncover life-changing discoveries that connect us to history, craftsmanship, and the eternal mystery of what might be hiding in plain sight. Last 1995 D1 cent USA coin, we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins that may be hiding in plain sight right in your pocket change, and today's episode brings you one of the most compelling and surprising stories yet, the astonishing tale of a 1995 D Lincoln 1 cent coin that has sold for an incredible $8 million due to its extremely rare minting errors, production flaws, and the unique historical circumstances that came together to make this particular penny a prized possession among collectors and numismatists around the world. And as we peel back the layers on this humble-looking copper-plated zinc coin minted in Denver, we'll uncover not only the visible surface errors that make it instantly recognizable to the trained eye, but also the less obvious, microscopic inconsistencies and metallurgical anomalies that elevate its value far beyond what most would ever expect from a coin with a face value of merely 1 cent, and to understand why the 1995 D penny can be worth millions, we must first take a journey back to the United States Mint's operations during the mid-1990s, a period marked by technological transition, increased production demand, and changes in materials that all contributed to a perfect storm of circumstances ideal for the creation of error coins, and among these, the 1995 D penny stands out thanks to a series of unusual mistakes that somehow made it past quality control and into circulation before being discovered by sharp-eyed collectors who immediately realized that something was off. And while many people are familiar with the more widely known 1995 double die penny from Philadelphia, the Denver Mint counterpart is significantly more rare and even more valuable due to its scarcity and the particular nature of its errors. And among the most notable flaws found on the $8 million specimen is a dramatic misalignment of the die that resulted in an off-center strike, with Lincoln's portrait partially shifted toward the rim of the coin and parts of the design nearly cut off, which is a strong visual cue to experienced collectors that something extraordinary may be at play. But that's just the beginning, because this same coin also exhibits a highly unusual die clash, where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in place, leaving ghostly impressions of the reverse elements, such as the Lincoln Memorial, on the obverse side, creating a surreal and unmistakable lead image that numismatists describe as both eerie and captivating. And as if that weren't enough, further inspection of the coin under magnification reveals doubling not only on the date but also on the motto "In God We Trust" and parts of the word liberty, with the doubling being the result of either a hub doubling error or a mechanical doubling, though in this rare case, the consensus leans toward it being a true double die, which is much more valuable and sought after due to its origins during the hubbing process of die creation rather than machine vibration during striking. And one of the most fascinating aspects of this particular coin is the presence of planchet contamination, where traces of foreign metal, believed to be nickel or tin, were embedded into the zinc core before the copper plating process, leading to subtle discoloration and raised blisters on the coin's surface that both diminish the structural integrity and create unique visual characteristics unlike any other known 1995's D penny. And those blisters, sometimes mistaken for post-mint damage, are in fact indicative of metallurgical flaws at the planchet production level and are now considered one of the defining traits of this specific multimillion-dollar specimen. And moving beyond the physical errors, the coin's value is also boosted by its provenance and discovery story, having been found by a seasoned collector at a coin show in Colorado who initially mistook it for a novelty piece before submitting it to multiple grading agencies, all of which confirmed the authenticity of the errors and awarded it the highest possible grading for a circulated coin with mint error designations. And in the world of rare coin collecting, provenance and certification are key drivers of value, especially when a coin exhibits multiple high-tier minting anomalies like doubling, die clash, off-center strike, planchet contamination, and strike-through errors all in one, which in this case was found as a result of cloth fibers from a cleaning rag accidentally being pressed into the coin's reverse during striking, leaving an unmistakable impression of textile texture embedded into the metal and further cementing its uniqueness. And what makes this even more incredible is that no other known 1995's D penny exists with this exact combination of errors, making it a true one-of-a-kind piece, a unicorn in the world of coin collecting. And as any seasoned numismatist will tell you, the rarity of a coin is only part of the equation. The condition, the nature of the error, the eye appeal, and the historical significance all combine to influence the final valuation. And when all these factors converge in a single specimen, the value can skyrocket far beyond even the boldest estimates, which is precisely what happened when this coin was put up for auction. And after intense bidding from collectors and institutions alike, it ultimately sold for $8 million to a private investor with a passion for mint errors. and the sale sent shockwaves through the numismatic community, triggering renewed interest in 1995 pennies and causing collectors everywhere to scrutinize their collections and spare change in hopes of discovering a similar treasure. And while most 1995's D pennies are worth face value, some can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the type and severity of error. And the key takeaway for collectors is to be vigilant, informed, and detail-oriented, always examining coins under proper lighting with magnification to detect anomalies that may otherwise go unnoticed. And this particular 1995's D penny also teaches us the value of curiosity and research, as its discovery was only possible thanks to a collector who took the time to investigate a strange-looking coin rather than dismissing it as damaged or fake, and in doing so, they unearthed a true piece of modern minting history. And while we often think of rare coins as being old, silver, or gold, this modern copper plated zinc penny proves that even coins from the relatively recent past can become extraordinary if the right errors are present and preserved, and that's one of the most exciting aspects of coin collecting. It turns everyday items into objects of fascination, and in some cases, immense wealth, and it encourages people of all ages to look closely at the small details, to learn the history behind the objects they handle every day, and to see value in places others might overlook, and that's why stories like the 1995 $8 million penny continue to captivate the imagination of collectors and non-collectors alike, because they remind us that surprises still exist in the world, waiting to be discovered by those with keen eyes and curious minds. And as we continue to explore the world of numismatics, we find more and more examples of coins whose worth goes far beyond their denomination. And this 1995 D penny, with its complex array of minting errors, flawless documentation, and unmatched uniqueness, stands as a shining example of what's possible when luck, history, and a touch of imperfection come together to create a true modern-day treasure. And for those inspired by this incredible story, now is the perfect time to start examining your change, visiting local coin shows, and learning the signs of rare and valuable mint errors, because you never know when your next penny might just be worth a fortune.